So in the previous quest, our small windlass bearing exchange job escalated a bit. In order to be able to put everything back together, we now needed to recreate part of it. And of course, as we were planning to fiberglass,
weather, low humidity.
First up, a bit of prep.
Yeah.
Brand new and shiny.
Trochę za dużo luzu tu jest.
Underloaded should be fine.
No bo to poprzednie jest tak urośnięte, że nie można nawet włożyć, nie?
We used an anti-corrosion lubricant both to prevent galvanic reaction between the aluminum part and the stainless bearing and to make sure epoxy doesn't stick where it shouldn't. Or I should say any further corrosion.
Jeszcze.
Just a little bit missing. It's gonna be fine. Then Bartek temporarily put the windlass back together, so we had some guidance that would help keep everything centered.
Żeby tutaj zamknąć tą szczelinę, nie?
The lip seal was coated generously with Vaseline to protect it from epoxy.
So we need to add paste, epoxy paste, to just hold the lip seal in the spot. Yes, that it's not rotating with the shaft like it is rotating now, and have a place to put this thing on later to build the remaining part. It's the old lip seal from the deck, so it should seal the shaft when it's fresh. Yes.
Not exactly doing its job right now.
But this is the same diameter as this. So if we will have a shaft like this, then we can add it inside and add another one inside.
Yep. Let the fiberglassing begin. To create the paste, Bartek first added Cabo Seal to thicken the epoxy. And then mixed in some chopped fiberglass to give the implant a bit more strength, and of course to make it
So it will be a little bit itchy during sanding. No itchy, no fun.
full reconstruction.
It's not full reconstruction, come on. Maybe it's a pro tip for love runs. They should make it from fiberglass.
The smell of fresh epoxy on a Saturday morning. Statistically obvious, as soon as Bartek was done, it started raining, so the epoxy could cure in nicely humid conditions. Thanks to the slow hardener, we had time to adjust a couple of unruly fluffs.
Ale tak weszło, czy tylko
No
trochę?
jest tak, że można sobie powciskać wystające kłaki.
And before everything's set, do a quick test. And it's not glued! Yuppie! Next day, everything was nicely cured and still not stuck. So happy with the result, we could proceed with the reconstruction. To make our lives a little bit easier, we decided to repurpose a backing plate from one of our old unfinished projects. New backing plate.
trzeba będzie powycinać jakieś wzorki, bo tam nie ma miejsca na całe to, nie?
We need to cut this with the multi-tool.
We make the hole for the shaft. So then slide this thing inside so it will hold the angles, yeah. And then this in with this inside, yeah,
Tiny backing plate.
to have the distance. Plus the backing plate, which was rotten.
Ta-da!
While we had the multi-tool out, we cut the PVC pipe to size.
Tylko czekaj, bo to jest minus to.
Minus backing plate. Przy czym mamy trochę jeszcze na szafcie, nie?
As always, our measurements were very precise.
Trochę niżej jest.
Done.
This is too dull.
So we first drilled a pilot hole. I know our drill is not the definition of power, but I think that's gonna be a pretty strong backing plate.
In the next episode. Technical break.
While we waited for the battery to charge, we had some time to ponder.
7 centimeters.
Then we will have just one flat angle, one flat angle, and one flat. Because with this one, we have flat, angle, 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 flat, angle, flat.
Okay. Bigger diameter, less.
Material needed to have more strength. Everything is torsion, twisting, forces,
Twisting.
whatever.
Yeah, something.
So we looked for a thicker pipe.
Nic w sam raz.
Nada.
Coś innego to może być coś innego.
But then we realized
Yeah, so on another hand, if this thing will be like 7 in diameter, then we have completely no room for the screws. So cone, but then cone on this height Yes, it's still like a muscle man is like a 5.5, and 5.5 is still just a little bit.
So back to plan A.
Yeah. Multi-step contraction.
Multi-step.
The pinky and the brain.
Then we took advantage of a good weather window and moved to the wooden support on deck. Bartek took one more layer off to get to more solid looking one before coating it with epoxy. Another day in paradise. Tiny little batch.
It's not tiny. It's like 3/4 of the half. Whatever it is.
Just exchange the bearing. Simple project. Duża dziura. Tak jak ja patrzę tam. O. Weekend bonanza. Of course, freshly laid epoxy. Ta-da! Let's hope it works. That's the line we used to drop the anchor because of this. Now back to the windlass part. With the hole in the backing plate drilled, Bartek focused on double checking all the measurements. There is some adjustment possible on the shaft length, but we didn't want to push it to the limits. Fortunately, the ominous clouds disappeared and we could proceed to fiberglass without the extra humidity. But first, a dry fit of the whole setup.
Tak?
Chyba tak. And after a quick sanding, it was time to create the fillets that would glue the two parts and the PVC pipe together and create a nice radius for the fiberglass layers that would later follow. No im większy będzie, tym będzie łatwiej, aczkolwiek jest taki całkiem, wygląda, że jest okej. It took a while to pat down all the fluffs, but at the end, Bartek did a great job.
A wiem. Kapselek może od peanut buttera.
It was put aside to cure until the next day. We started by checking how the top wooden part was doing. It cured nicely, as surprisingly, didn't rain. Mushroom. Now that the parts were glued together, Bartek could detach the gearbox for easier handling. He secured the end with the new bearing so no epoxy could accidentally get in. And proceeded to sand the whole thing. We prepped the tools and cut the fiberglass strips, which would give the part its strength. Now it was on to the classic wet out, apply, get rid of bubbles, repeat.
Pearson. Mi się tu przypomina.
Pearson style. First, Bartek squeezed out any air bubbles by hand, but with more and more layers, we switched to the trusty bubble buster. After around 2 millimeters of thickness was laid, we applied pieces of nylon taffeta fabric, aka cheap peel ply, to reduce the amount of sanding before the next session. Thanks for watching and till the next one.